Welcome to my Halloween podcast of From My Head to Your Ears. This is a 2025 edition, of course. So I didn't get to do what I wanted to do this year, so I'm just going to wing it. But I have a lot of good stories and a lot of things to say about Halloween because I love it so much. So we're going to talk some Halloween memories, some Halloween movies. I've had a few new ones that I've seen this year. I'll talk about that. And maybe a scary story or a little ghost reference. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just kind of come as it goes. So stay tuned for some spooky fun. Some dumb imitations of Bela Lugosi. Anyway. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast From My Head to Your Ears.
Welcome to the night, the air is crisp and clear. Waited all year, now the spirits draw near. Turn up the volume, let the stories begin. From my head to your ears, let the hauntings spin.
I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, my Halloween edition for 2025 of From My Head to Your Ears. I've had a month, I'm telling you. I really have. I've had to have iron infusions, and I've had a sciatica flare up, and right now I can barely walk, but I'm still... Actually, it's not that I can't walk, it's that I can't get up or get down very well. My knees are just killing me. I thought about getting a walker just to pull myself up from the chair and what have you. It's been fun, I'm going to tell you. I feel like someone has a voodoo doll of me right now. So if you can, say a prayer for your old buddy here because I ain't doing so well. I have a wedding on Monday to go to. My nephew's daughter, my great niece, Becca, is getting married. I want to shout out congratulations to them. I'm looking forward to going. I may not be dancing at your wedding, but I'm going to be there. So I'll just bring my walker. I laugh, but, it may happen. I don't know. The iron infusions aren't doing very much for me. I think the best thing it's done for me is the breathing issue I was having. But I have to go back for a follow-up, and I more than likely will have to have another infusion. So, getting that out of the way. It's Halloween! I always say I'm a black hole of despair, and I really am. What more, how appropriate for Halloween being a black hole of despair, because that's kind of scary in itself. So I wanted to get some ghost stories for my listeners again, and I just didn't do it. Just the last thing on my mind's been the podcast. I'm sorry. But, more getting up and going to work, or making myself get up and go to work has been important. But I've got plenty of other stuff to talk about. I thought I'd start off with what I do in October every year is I have a Halloween movie festival. I call it the Leonard Riggs, well, this year, of course, 2025 Halloween Movie Festival. And I watch at least one scary movie a night for the whole month of October. Right now I'm doing several. Today I'm going to do several because this is my day off. And tomorrow I have to work, but I will do my traditional movies on Halloween. I probably will scale back a little bit since I have to get up really early on Saturday, but I still will watch several today since I can because I have the time, and I'm going to do this podcast, obviously. Well, this year I've added a lot of new movies to my collection, and I've kind of got a little more experimental with what I've been watching. The best new movie that I've added, and I'll probably watch again, is Weapons, which is a really good movie. It's got a really twist ending, and I wasn't expecting to like it because I generally don't like newer horror films, but this one really, I've really been raving about. It's got a slow opening, but it kind of all makes sense when you get to the second half where it explains what's going on. Basically, it's about a whole classroom of kids, little kids, just walk out of their house at 2:00 in the morning or 3:00 in the morning, I can't remember, and disappear. All but one child in the class. Of course, the townspeople kind of blame the teacher since that's the only connection to these disappearances. And they start harassing her, something fierce. And it's all a great mystery in the beginning, and you're wondering what the heck is going on. And anyway, when the payoff comes, it's a good payoff. So I recommend that one highly this year. There's a lot of gore. It's not for kids. Kids in danger. It's not a fun Halloween movie like, say, Hocus Pocus or some of the Disney Halloween movies. But, boy, my nose is stopped up. So if I sound a little nasally, it is. This weather around Southern Illinois is pretty scary. Anyway, that's probably my number one movie that I've enjoyed this year. I've seen a couple others that I just, I watched, Hard Eyes, which is actually, to me, Hard Eyes, seemed like a Hallmark movie in so many ways, but it has a lot of gore, and it's got a serial killer, and it's almost like a Saturday Night Live sketch in a way, because they've made fun of that before. A Halloween, a serial killer Hallmark movie. So anyway, I didn't care for it. I thought it was too stupid. I didn't care for the acting in it. There's really no big actors in the movie. Yeah, there is one. I can't think of his name right offhand because I really just don't care. I unfortunately bought a download of it on Amazon because I figured I'd just add it to my collection. I didn't rent it. Also, there's The Conjuring, The Last Rites. That was another new one I had this year. I am still trying to get through that. It's not that it's bad or anything. It's kind of, the same old, and, it's not my favorite of the series so far. If I can finish it, I'll be able to tell you a little better. My problem is it's 2 hours and 5 minutes long, and it's kind of about the Spurl family and their haunting in the late 80s. And this movie was made into a TV movie called, I believe, The Haunted, with Sally Kirkland. And I remembered that movie, that aired on TV years ago. Matter of fact, I watched it. I found it on YouTube. I kind of enjoyed that one a little better because it's more about the haunting and not about the Warrens. So, of course, since if you're a fan of the Conjuring movies, you're going to be interested in what's going on with the Warrens. But to me, it's kind of all their personal stuff is interspersed with the haunting, and I'm more interested in the haunting. Of course, I can go into more of the gory details of the haunting, but with the R rating and the special effects and what's available now as opposed to a TV movie in 1990 or whatever that was. But anyway, can I recommend it? No, I can't recommend it because I haven't seen it all, but it's not bad. It's just kind of formulaic of those movies. And, if you love the Conjuring movies, you'll probably really like this one. But it's definitely so far not my favorite of the Conjuring. I think the first movie is my absolute favorite. The second movie wasn't bad. I like the Nun movies a lot. Those were good. But yeah. Then I've dug up some older movies, that I had never seen or that I forgot about, like Pumpkinhead. And that's very 80s. and it's not bad. And I watched, I'm trying to think. I've had so many movies this month. Oh, Below, which is a submarine ghost story set in the World War II era. And that actually wasn't a bad movie. It was kind of slow going. Zach Galifianakis is in it, which is strange. Of course, he plays a serious role, but it would be a serious role that Zach Galifianakis would be in. So, but yeah, I wasn't bad. Below is the name of that movie. I can't think of anything else. Tonight I'm going to dig up the old Paul Lynde Halloween special from the 70s. His guests were Kiss, and he has Billy Hayes, who played Witchy Poo, and H&R Puffin stuff, and Lidsville and all those. She didn't play on Lidsville as Witchy Poo, but Billy Hayes played Witchy Poo in H&R Puffin stuff, and she plays a witch in this, along with Margaret Hamilton, which is great. You know, the witch from the Wizard of Oz. So that is very cheesy, good 70s fun. Paul Lynde, of course, is a hoot, and I'm going to have fun watching that. I believe Kiss is a musical guest in that. So, and you know, Kiss did a TV movie back in the 70s, and for the life of me, I can't think of it. The Kiss and the Phantom of the Park or something like that. Forgive me, I do know this because I actually wanted to see that so bad that I skipped out on the Christopher parade. I snuck off halfway through the parade back in, I think it was 1978, and ran home, and while my mom and dad and everybody was at the parade, so I could watch it on the color television that we just acquired just recently. And I got through about 30 minutes of it, and I can hear my dad griping outside the house as they walk back to the house. Don't know what he was complaining about, but my dad was always griping. Of course, when he walked in the door and he saw it, took one look at Kiss, and he said, "What are you watching?" That's not his exact words. I can't repeat what he said, but he did. Yeah, I had to go turn it off and go try to watch it in the bedroom on the little small black and white TV. But if I recall, it was on NBC, and we did not pick up the local NBC station very well. So I think I gave up on it, and I never really got to watch it. And they did release it in a Kiss compilation video album, or whatever you want to call it, years ago. But as far as I know, it's never been released separately. And I probably could find it on YouTube if I look for it. But I have not had any luck. But I still would like to see it because I think it would be fun. Cheesy fun, anyway. I don't know. And then my normal movies that I watch, Stir of Echoes is one of my favorite with Kevin Bacon. Of course, anything with Vincent Price in it is good. Love the old Hammer movies, especially the Christopher Lee Dracula movies. I have to watch Dr. Phibes every year with Vincent Price. Too. I didn't watch the sequel though, did I? I don't remember. I don't think I did. I think I just watched the first one. Oh gosh. The Haunting, the original The Haunting from 1963 with Julie Harris, directed by the great Robert Wise. Robert Wise was a great director of, he did The Sound of Music and several movies that are amazing. He directed Star Trek The Motion Picture, actually. But he was a great director, and the remake of that is just god-awful. If that's your thing, great, good for you, but I despise that remake with every fiber of my being. They took the simple scares of the first movie, and they did CGI effects and terrible acting and just horribly overblown, whereas the movie is simple and uses sound effects and lighting to be scary. That movie just goes over the top, and I don't like it at all. It's what I don't like about modern horror films anyway. I don't know. Let's see. Of course, tomorrow. Oh, yeah, tomorrow is Halloween. I really cut it close with this podcast. I'm sorry. I almost didn't do it at all, but I promise. So here I am. Well, that's enough about the movies. Of course, well, before I stop, I've got to watch It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Have to. There's also a movie, while I'm digressing here, about the Mad Monster Party with the voices of Phyllis Diller and I think Boris Karloff, and it's a Rankin Bass animated movie, like Rudolph. And that's a cute movie if you can find it. I have a copy of it. It's probably on YouTube or wherever on Roku. You can probably find it if you want your kids to watch something. That's really cute. So anyway, I'm going to take a break. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, the Halloween edition of my podcast. From my head to your ears, I will I'm so excited I can't talk. I will be right back.
From my head to your ears, let the music appear. No distance between us, just jazz in the air. I'll be right back, don't you fear. Every note I play brings me near.
I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast. From my head to your ears. And, like I said, a little nasally today, so I apologize. Seems like every time I want to do my podcast, I have my nose stopped up. I don't know. But anyway, I'm talking about Halloween because this is the Halloween edition of my podcast. Booze. Scary. I thought I'd talk about some of the Halloween costumes from my past life. Now, I did not like going trick-or-treating when I was a kid. I did not like it at all. That wasn't my favorite part of Halloween. My favorite part of Halloween was the scary stuff. I just didn't like going door to door. I was very shy, and as soon as I had an excuse not to go, I took it. Basically, you're allowed to trick-or-treat when you're 13. So I think when I was 12, I decided I was too old, and I would tell everybody I'm not going. And then my sister, Connie, would take us around with my nephews, Eric and Randy Bud, and people would give me candy anyway, because I looked like a little kid. But being the baby of the family, everybody else, I think the part of that, too, as I got older, my sisters got too old to trick-or-treat. Because my sisters were, Cindy, my youngest sister's almost 7 years older than me, so by the time I was 6 or 7, they were too old to go with. So it wasn't any fun anymore. I think I might have enjoyed it when I was little. And, you know. But I also remember walking around in those dang 1970s costumes was a nightmare. Because they were made out of polyurethane, plastic or whatever. And then they had those masks they were stapled on with a rubber band. And every mask I ever had, the rubber band broke. So we'd be trying to walk and I'd be trying to hold that dang mask. And I was trying to remember every year what I was. I do know that in kindergarten, I was a witch, which makes me laugh because my parents didn't think nothing of it. But I remember there was a Roseanne episode where DJ wanted to be a witch and they were concerned, which I thought was funny. But I was a witch as a kindergartner and whatever. And then I think, let's see, now this is where I cannot remember, as much as my memory serves me, I can't remember some of these costumes. So I'm going to go to my best. I think the next year I was a Tin Man. Now, do you see where I got the witch? Because I was the witch in kindergarten, and then I was a Tin Man, I think, in first grade. I think that's how it was. Yeah, I was a big Wizard of Oz fan. So, you know, if I could have been a scarecrow, I would have been too. So, I don't know. That was my favorite movie in my early years anyway. I love The Wizard of Oz. Still love The Wizard of Oz. Who doesn't? That was probably everybody's first favorite movie. Anyway. The Tin Man, which was another one of those polyurethane plastic costumes with the rubber band mask. I do distinctly remember one year my mom putting a sheet over my head that was a ghost, I believe. Or maybe that was my sister. I remember another costume my mom made. She took pantyhose and put on my arms, and she got really creative, and I got a tiger mask, and I was a tiger. And I kind of liked that one because it wasn't the plastic costume. She got creative and got into it that year. I absolutely know the third grade I was a blonde-headed G.I. Joe, again, one of those plastic costumes with the stupid mask. And that was the one where the rubber band popped off and poked me in the eye. And I just hated those costumes. I really did. And I think that was the last time I went trick-or-treating too. So I was 10 when I stopped. I know when my sisters got a little older, they were into mischief. They would take soap with them and soap people's windows. So my parents would have whipped their butts. They didn't know that, but they did. They were having, a little more grown-up fun. But what I remember about trick-or-treating in the 70s, too, is your parents would not allow you to go to hippies, what they referred to as hippies houses, because more than likely they would put LSD in your candy or razor blades or pins or something. You wouldn't want Junior coming home all on an acid trip. So we had to avoid those houses. And of course you don't, and this is a given now, you do not knock on a house that does not have their porch light on. Big no-no. You just don't. But I can remember walking around with my sisters, and like I said, when I got a little bit older, my sister Connie would take Eric and Randy in the car, and I'd go with it. Everybody would give me candy anyway. But the big deal in Christopher, Illinois was always the parade, though. And that was a lot of fun when I was very young. And my dad, when I was very young, my dad would carry me up. We'd walk because we lived really not far from town. So we'd walk up, and we'd always stood by the far eastern side of town. That's always because that was where we ended up walking to. And sometimes we'd wake our way up. But Christopher always has had a good Halloween parade. They used to have a little more. They have a kiddie parade, which, again, the only time I ever entered was when I had the Tin Man costume on. But the people that won, the whole family dressed up like the Wizard of Oz. They had Dorothy the Tin Man, the Scarecrow. I almost said the werewolf. That wasn't the Wizard of Oz. Werewolf. Jeez. The Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion. Yes, and they won first place. Of course, the guy that was my age just had the same costume on I did. I thought that was unfair. Bummer. But I know who they were, and I could name names, but I'm not going to. Mark Overturf, you won my prize. I should have knocked him out and snuck in with his family. They would have never known we were about the same size, had the same costume on, took the prize and ran. No, but I didn't do that. I love Mark and his family. They're good people. I just still remember that. Oh, God. I believe the group, though, because they had a big family. I think it was Mark, his sister Billy, maybe Krista, and who am I leaving out? Dean was too old to be on that. So I don't. Oh, the other sister, and I can't think of her name. Oh, I feel bad. I'm sorry, and I know her name. I just can't think of it. You can forget my name if you want to. Anyway, yeah. But what I love most of all, again, going back to the movies, that always scary movies at Halloween, the Irv Kopey, scary movies on late night on Friday on Channel 8, that I never could stay awake long enough to finish. And, KFVS Channel 12 out of, Cape Girardeau would show the Hammer movies late at night. So the movies were my favorite. Trick or Treating was not. But my mom would make popcorn balls. And of course, again, we had to watch Charlie Brown. It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So that was always a treat. But Trick or Treating and Christopher, it was very innocent, good fun. And, the candies we'd get, though, everybody remembers this too. There's a big thing about candy corn, how horrible that is, and it's not. I love candy corn. I don't know what the big issue is. Actually, if you take candy corn and you mix it with peanuts, it tastes just like a payday candy bar. So a little tip for you there. If you get some candy corn, just make a trail mix with it with peanuts and nuts. And then it's really good. Little Halloween tip from my head to your ears. See what I did there? Anyway, I think I'm going to take a break and blow my nose because can't hardly breathe. I am Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. I'll be back.
From my head to your ears, let the music appear. No distance between us, just jazz in the air. I'll be right back, don't you fear. Every note I play brings me near.
I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears, the Halloween edition. No, anyway. Thought I'd talk a little bit about local legends and stupid, scary things about my childhood. I've probably told these stories before, but maybe you're new to the podcast or maybe you forgot. I'm notorious for retelling stories over again. I think I'm going senile. But locally, I've heard scary things. My favorite of which, and this is weird, there was this big old building on Market Street next to, just up from the whole park. And it's tore down now, and they had apartments in it. And I heard, and this is the weird thing, which leads me to believe there's something to it. I heard several different accounts that was haunted. And I knew people that lived in the same apartment many years apart that told me that freaky things happened there, like their TV going on and off and stuff like that. Which is weird because when I worked midnights at my job, these people would come up, and I was good friends with them. They'd come up and tell me, oh my God, my TV's going on and off and this and this and this. One person told me years later after the fact that when she lived there. But it was very strange that I heard the same stories from several different people about how that house was haunted. So there's got to be something to it. The other big legend around my area was there's a house on Victor Street. And for the like of me, I'm not 100% sure which house it is, but it was notoriously haunted. Someone said a pentagram would appear on the floor and ghosts were seen in there. and all kinds of stuff. And I've always heard that, but I'm not sure which house it is, and I'm not sure if it's still standing. I think it is. And Victor Street was probably one of the oldest streets, established streets in my town, because it's kind of leading in. It's the four-way where the Dairy Queen is and the old buildings. So I always found that story fascinating. And if anybody knows more about that story or the other story I told you about, maybe next Halloween we can have you on and you can tell me your experiences, because I really would like to do that. Last year I read some local being not Christopher, but Southern Illinois area legends about haunted places, and that was a lot of fun. Plus I got some stories from viewers. So if you go back in my history and listen to last year's, that was a lot of fun. I had planned to do that again this year, but I didn't get a chance to because I didn't feel good, among other things. But I was always told that. Now, there was a house on North Maple Street, I believe, North State Street, I'm sorry, that people claim was haunted, but I don't see how it could be. It's basically just an big old white house. People were breaking into it, and they made this legend up in their mind, and it wasn't true at all. And I'm like, I don't think that house is haunted. The lady that owned it, daughter had been murdered, and she wasn't murdered there. So I think that story got convoluted over the years, and people literally were parking at my store and walking, because it was in walking distance, to go in there and investigate, and it just wasn't true. It's kind of when Ghost Hunters was airing in the height of its popularity. That's when that was happening, but I don't know. If you were looked in there, and maybe you shouldn't come forward. You could anonymously come forward and tell me, because that's breaking and entering, actually. And I didn't recommend it. I was kind of mad because I knew the owners, but as far as I know, there's no reason to think that house was haunted. But there is a grave at Harrison Cemetery, which is a very old cemetery, just east of Christopher, up on a hill between Christopher and Buckner. And there is a musician's gravestone there. And sadly, that has come into great disrepair. I heard the legend when I was a child, and a lot of people were going there. And it's this clever little tombstone made into a piano. And the legend was you could hear the piano playing at night. It was disproved because they said the wind would blow through the piano. It had kind of a flute effect, and it would make music. But anyway, that was an interesting story, and it was an interesting tombstone. But the last time I visited it, which was a few years ago, it was just falling apart. That tombstone's got to be well over 100 years old. But Harrison Cemetery is a very old cemetery with a lot of old graves in it. So, it's an interesting cemetery. I don't recommend that you go visit there or desecrate it, but that story came to mind when I was a kid. Other than that, I can't think of anything real that comes to mind. I tried to convince my local neighbor kids that a house that was in front of us was haunted. And it was this little 2-room house, no bathroom. The only thing it was just old, and I made the rest up, and I had everybody scared of it. That's what happens when you got a young guy with an imagination that spans a universe and is bored. So that happens, right? Wow, my nose is really... Can you hear my nose squeak? Because I can. My sinuses are just terrible today. That's very scary, folks. Trying to talk with a stopped up nose. So, I really wish I could have got your scary stories this year. I'm very disappointed in that I did not. But, I really do. I love Ghost Hunters, and I love scary stories. I oftentimes late at night, if I'm not watching TikTok videos of people falling, I'll look up haunted stories and people telling their ghost stories. It's always interesting to me, So I keep the spirit of Halloween with me all year long, much as the same with Christmas for me. So anyway, I'm going to take a break and blow my nose again. My gosh. Sound like in my brain I'm hearing like a duck calling. That's pretty bad. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast From My Head to Your Ears.
From my head to your ears, let the music appear. No distance between us, just jazz in the air. I'll be right back, don't you fear. Every note I play brings me near.
I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my Halloween edition of my podcast From My Head to Your Ears. Ha 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 ha. Anyway. Continuing with the Halloween memories, I've had a lot of not so great memories, and at this time of year, it's really kind of a lot of darkness has happened to my friends and family this time of year, which is really odd. So there's this little melancholy attachment to this holiday as well. I still love it, but I can't share memories without these bad memories because it's part of the experience. I can go back quite a ways. A former neighbor and his girlfriend died of carbon monoxide poisoning around this time of year. And that was a big tragedy in my life because although they had moved across town, this man, the young man, boy, really was a big part of my childhood. And that was a horrible tragedy. And it kind of darkened the holiday a little bit. And it wasn't the last thing that did. I've had several things happen over the years. His girlfriend also, her sisters were two of my bosses, and they're like sisters to me now. So, I'll name the names Tony Medley and Dana Furlow, just as a little tribute to them. And they passed this time of year, not quite on Halloween, but around Halloween. And, that always has kind of peppered this holiday for me and has made it a little sad. More personally, my sister Connie passed away on Halloween. She had a pulmonary embolism and passed away suddenly. I'll never forget, I was sleeping because I inadvertently had to work midnights because we had to let someone go. And I was watching Halloween and the end credits, and my nephew called with the news that my sister had suddenly passed. So there's a little darkness around this holiday. And also a good friend of mine had got killed in a car wreck. While I was carving my pumpkin, I got the news. And that was quite a few years ago. And the same week, my neighbor's house caught on fire, and they unfortunately did not make it through the fire. They burned in the house. So I can't talk about Halloween without talking about that. On the plus side, and ironically, very ironically, my great niece gave birth to her daughter just a couple of hours away from being Halloween. And she named her Connie after my sister, my niece, Randy Jo. And baby Connie, that was a very special gift to the family, having her be born so close to the day Connie died. So that's a little goodness out there. So I thought I would get that little darkness away, out of the way. And I guess I can't not mention the murder. There was a murder across the street from my store a few years ago as well. That was kind of crazy on Halloween night. So there's little darkness in my life on one of my favorite holidays, but I can't let, I will always love Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, no matter what. I will always celebrate them one way or the other, maybe not the way I used to, but I will always play Christmas music. I will always listen to Monster Mash on Halloween, and I will always have a Thanksgiving dinner, whatever it is. There's always something to be thankful about. There's always something to celebrate. But I will always love these holidays, period. I will always enjoy them and find a way to enjoy them. So that's just the way I am. Sorry about that little dark turn there, but I could not talk about this without talking about that. I miss my sister, Connie, immensely. It was very strange, and I think I told this story last year. I swear my sister knew she was going to pass. I always called her my healthy sister because I have 4 sisters, and my other 3 sisters have had cancer. 2 of my sisters have had lymphoma, and Cindy and Lori have had cancer. Lori passed from cancer last year. But Connie always seemed to be strong like ox, I thought that girl could do anything. She was my oldest sister, and she was tough. She raised her boys and her daughter and took care of her grandkids, and she remodeled her house on her own. She always was very independent. She wasn't scared of anything, I swear. And she was good-hearted and sweet. And a big part of my Halloween is, as I was talking earlier about how she used to take us around trick-or-treating. She always tried to do right by her kids. But having that blessing where her granddaughter was born the night before Halloween. But truthfully, though, as I was starting to say, the week before Connie died, she purposely visited with each one of us like she knew something was wrong, like she knew she was going to pass. She'd say, "Hey, come here and talk to me. I want to talk to you." And it's like, what's going on? And she did that to all of us. It's like she knew, or she had a clue. So, wow, I still think of that a lot. And I know I talked last year about my experience after my mom died, of how I felt the peace in the house. So anyway, the supernatural is real. God is real, and I have no doubt about that. So, with that having been said, I'm going to take a break. Sorry about the dark period here. I'll be right back with a little more Halloween stuff. Boo! I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast From My Head to Your Ears.
From my head to your ears, let the music appear. No distance between us, just jazz in the air. I'll be right back, don't you fear. Every note I play brings me near.
I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, the Halloween edition of my podcast. From my head to your ears. Anyway. So I thought I'd bring it up to modern day Halloween. I told you I do my movie festival. I don't trick or treat, obviously. I'm almost 60 years old. That would be kind of funny, though. I do my movie festival. I don't give out candy on this side of town because it's pretty dark, and it aggravates my cats. I don't want my cats to get loose. So I just don't do that anymore. When I lived on Mulkey Street, I would sit outside, play scary music, and had a jillion trick-or-treaters. Loved every minute. But what my town, Christopher, is doing now is having trick-or-treat uptown. And I think that's a great idea, where kids can go and get candy from whoever up there for the stores. You can still go house to house, but a lot of people are opting not to do that anymore. It's just a different world we live in, isn't it? So Halloween's still here. Boy, people decorate a lot more than they used to for Halloween, and the decorations are amazing. Those animatronic things, woo! They've really gotten advanced. Those inflatable Halloween decorations are great, but boy, do they run your electric bill up. I had an inflatable pumpkin one year, and oh my God, my electric bill was crazy. So they are expensive to run, by the way. But they're a lot of fun to have. I don't do any of that anymore either. I swear, I have no luck with jack-o'-lanterns. That's the one thing. I always get a pumpkin, and I've even waited until like the last week to get it, and it always rots, and I always get fruit flies or whatever that is that gets around them, and it's awful. And I've tried every treatment, everything known to man to keep a pumpkin, but it just rots. Now, when I lived on Monkey Street, and I lived there for a long time, I was trying to remember how many years. 13, 14, 15 years. Anyway, every Halloween, someone would steal my pumpkin. And I tried watching and everything. They got my pumpkin every year. Don't know if it was the same person. Don't know anything. Every year, someone would do it. So someone else, if you're listening, had a Halloween tradition of stealing my pumpkin. And I hope you had fun. But another tradition I've had, and I didn't do a jack-o'-lantern this year because I've got some remodeling going on in my house that is a god-awful mess. So I didn't do a jack-o'-lantern this year. I have two really good friends that have pumpkin patches. And one of these days, well, my one friend, the Versalinos, closed theirs after this year. But the Dentons, who have Value Farms in Tamaro, Illinois, little shout out, have a great pumpkin patch as well. Versalinos had a great pumpkin patch in a nice little store. And Christy and Rob are good friends of mine, and I love them. And as I do the Dentons, they're good people out of Tamaro and DuQuoin area. Will's a state cop, and he was one of my local cops years ago. So I always help them to advertise their pumpkin patches every year. And I tell them, I'm like, you guys are both my friends. There's plenty of room for both of you because you both have kind of a niche. How's that called? You kind of have your own little corner of the market. How's that? Sorry. And, anyway, I think the Dentons have a special thing that they do with their pumpkins to where they last longer. I'm sure that's a trade secret, but yeah, I just don't have luck with jack-o'-lanterns. My dad always had one when I was a kid. This may be the first year where I didn't have one. I have a plastic one outside, just kind of sitting there. It's not plugged in or anything. I don't know. I might plug it in tomorrow just for Halloween. But one thing I did, I started to say this, that I do that's stupid. After the holiday, I sit my pumpkin out and I let it rot, and I just take pictures and updates of it as it decays. Is that not stupid? I don't know why that I do that, but I enjoy that. It's just one of those weird little things. I'm just one of those weird little things. No, I'm a big weird little big thing. Big weird little big thing. Big little. Oh, I could go all day with that one, huh? A big weird thing. There we go. That's me. Just a weirdo. You know what's funny? I have I have 7 cats, as you know. The closest I have to a black cat is girlfriend. And she has white on her fur. Beautiful. She's so beautiful. She really is. She reminds me of the little cat in the Pepe Le Pew cartoons. She's so dainty and just such a little girl. And she's in the house, thank God. She doesn't like to stay in the house during the summer, but it's been damp and cold and rainy. So she's made her little place by me on the couch, and she slept by me the last few days while I fall asleep on the couch watching my movies. But anyway, I'm going to take a break, and I think I'm going to wrap this up. I'm Leonard Riggs. This is my podcast, the Halloween edition of my podcast. From my head to your ears. Ha 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 ha. I'll be right back.
From my head to your ears, let the music appear. No distance between us, just jazz in the air. I'll be right back, don't you fear. Every note I play brings me near.
I'm Leonard Riggs, and this has been my Halloween edition of my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. Thank you for listening. I've decided to wrap it up. I've got things to do today. Movies to watch. Laundry to do, actually, as well. I have to go back to work tomorrow. Tomorrow is Halloween. Thank you for listening. Sorry I've not done what I promised to do. Hopefully I can get my health back online. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. I'm telling you right now. And this sucks. I'm not going to lie. I have not enjoyed this at all. But you can't always be healthy. Yeah. I guess my old body's just tired after working and 8 years of taking care of Mom. And I guess it just wore things out a little bit. Got out of hand. Been a crappy few years, and I'm still here. And still moving forward as best I can. I love this season. I love Halloween. I love Thanksgiving. I love Christmas. And I love all of you. I love my listeners more than anything. And I love hearing that you listen to my podcast more than anything. That just inspires me to keep going on. Next year, I hope for a better Halloween podcast. I've kind of had fun with this one. Hope you enjoy it. Sorry. I really wanted some ghost stories, but oh well, you can't have everything. So, I think I'll wrap it up, and I'm going to go have a cup of coffee and see my cats. They got to be fed. Start watching some movies. So, if you get a chance, you can look on TikTok or Facebook or, that's Instagram, I believe, as well. You can see my Halloween movie videos. The Leonard Riggs 25 Days of Halloween Movie Festival videos. They'll be up year round. You can check them out. Add me on TikTok if you like. It's Crazy Cat Dad 66, or just look up my name, Leonard Riggs. You'll find me. You'll see my old Kolchak picture right now with me holding the cross out, or my ugly face. You'll know it's me. There's no mistaking me, right? Well, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for listening. I can't believe Halloween is almost here and over, but it'll be back again as quick as it goes. It's the way it always goes, right? I'm Leonard Riggs, and this has been my Halloween edition of my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. It's alive! It's alive! Oh my God. Goodbye. A very special happy birthday to my friend Brandon Overton, and I'd like to dedicate this podcast to my sister Connie, who passed away on Halloween. And I love you forever, sis.
Welcome to the night, the air is crisp and clear. Waited all year, now the spirits draw near. Turn up the volume, let the stories begin. From my head to your
whisper, I'm feeling it all. Tales of monsters, witches and fears. Come closer, lend me your ears.
From my head to your ears, let the darkness unfold. Every secret and shiver, every legend retold. It's Halloween, baby, let the stories ignite. From my head to your ears, we own the night. Cobwebs and laughter, a chill in the air. Ghosts in the hallway, but I'm not scared. I've got a tale for every scream and cheer. So gather round, friends, the podcast is here. From my head to your ears, let the darkness unfold. Every secret and shiver, every legend retold. It's Halloween, baby, let the stories ignite. From my head to your ears, we own the night. So when the moon is high and the pumpkins glow bright, turning for a scare or a laugh or a fright. From my head to your ears, let's do it again. Halloween stories until the